What's up students, I'm the A-level guy and today we're doing the multiplier ratio. Now you might wonder what the multiplier ratio is. So if you're in year 12 and you don't know what the multiplier ratio is, it's not L ratio like the one you see on Twitter. It's a formula that looks something like this. 1 over 1 minus MPC. Now MPC is the marginal propensity to consume. The marginal propensity to consume. Please excuse my absolutely amazing handwriting. So we have 1 over 1 minus MPC. And that's the ratio of change in real GDP over the initial injection, if I'm not wrong. Change in GDP over the initial injection that we put into the economy. Now, the multiplier formula, if you don't understand, is, let's say you have £1 that I give to you. Very nice. I'm not giving you £1 though. And you put that £1 inside of a John's economy. You put it inside of John's economy. Now what John does with that £1 is he spends it. He goes out with his friends and he buys a new marker. Let's see. And that £1 now goes to the shopkeeper. And then again, the shopkeeper spends it on buying a shirt for his best friend. And then he spends £100. Now, there might be somewhere here that, let's say John decides, you know what, I'm not going to spend the £1 and I'm going to save it. So that might be different. So the marginal propensity to consume will tell us how much of that £1 that goes into John's economy will be spent, will be consumed, will be spent on consumption. And similarly, when the government decides to inject some money into the economy, let's say we have economy here. It looks more like a bacteria cell, but let's say we have an economy and I put in some amount of money, let's say £1. And the amount of money that is spent in the economy will be MPC times the £1, the injection. This £1 will be called the injection into the economy. Let's say this £1 goes in the economy and the injection, so this amount of money is spent again. So we have an extra of this amount of money that's inside of the economy, which is consumed. So that adds to the real GDP. Then out of this money, it goes into a second round of spending. The second round of spending will be MPC times the amount of money that was in the economy that was spent. So out of this, you put in this £1, and then you spend this, and then you spend this again. So you get the second round of spending. And then you get the third round of spending, which is MPC times MPC times MPC times £1. So if it doesn't make sense, I'll recap. Let's say you have an economy and you put in a £1 injection into it. Out of that £1, this amount of money is spent. Then out of this amount of money, this amount of money is spent again. And that amount of money is spent again. And that goes on and on until an infinite amount of times. So, if we try to calculate the change in GDP over the initial injection, the change in GDP will be, let's say, my initial money that I put in, £1, plus MPC times the initial injection of £1, and then plus MPC squared of £1, on and on and on, and you divide that by the initial injection, which was £1. Now, in this derivation, we're taking £1 to make it simple, but we can just write I instead of injection. So I write, I plus MPC into I plus MPC squared into I, on and on, over I. Now you see that each one of these terms has I common, so we can cancel I out from the upper terms. So what we get is a nice formula, which is 1 plus MPC plus MPC squared plus MPC cubed, on and on, infinite amount of times. So you can recall that the sum of an infinite series, this marker is giving up. What an unreliable marker. I would say something else, but that's not allowed on YouTube, whatever. So the sum of infinite terms in a series is the first term over 1 minus the common ratio. You can see the first term is 1. The common ratio that by which it multiplies is MPC. And hold on, that looks familiar. That is the multiplier ratio. So the multiplier ratio is basically the sum of an infinite series with the first term 1 and the common ratio as MPC. And now you know where it comes from. And if you don't, watch it again. Yeah.